Hi, today I will show you how a belt change is done on SYM VTS 200, or in some countries they call it SYM Joy Max. This is a 172cc engine SYM SYM, and today we're going to show you how a belt change on this motorcycle or scooter is done. There are a few things need to be done. First, you need to remove the belt housing or the belt cover. There are a few screws involved. This hose need to be removed. It's held by the clip that you will need Phillips screwdriver to remove. Then there is a bolt that hold the air filter box to the housing. Slightly inside, this is the 10mm bolt. After that, there will be 8mm bolts all around that you need to remove. Once all these screws and bolts have been removed and air ducting has been pulled aside, you can take the belt casing out, and you can have access to the belt. Okay, let's see how it's done. The access is a bit difficult for this particular bolt, and I do not want to remove the whole fairing because it's not really necessary. Okay, that's the 10mm bolts that holding this air filter box. The rest will be a 9mm bolt. This particular bolt that I'm removing now is the longest. It's just beside the 10mm bolts. So you will not make a mistake because this is the only long bolt. This is the only long bolt that is on this scooter belt casing. So it's very near to the air filter housing bolt. There's an access hole here for the bolts inside. Let's see if you can see it. Okay. This SYM, they have provided few access for bolts, so you do not need to remove this particular piece. The rest is simple. Once you have all the bolts out, it's just a matter of slowly removing the cover. And take note, there's one bolt which is longer than the rest. And this bolt is, the position of this bolt is right beside the bolts that hold the air filter housing. So it's very easy to figure out where it's going to be installed. And it's quite difficult to mix it up. Right, gently remove the housing. Okay, and you can see the inside part of the belt housing. This starter spindle will engage into this hole so that it provides a pivoting point for the Kickstarter. Okay, and that's the one that you have to be careful during installation. You need to go in before the whole housing can be installed properly. Right, let's put this aside. To change the belt, you need to remove this nut which is holding the variator. Also, you need to remove the aft nut that's holding the clutch assembly. I'm using an impact wrench, so it's much easier to do. If you do not have an impact wrench, you can get a holder that goes into these two holes, and using a 17mm socket and a handle, you should be able to remove it. Right, I will use impact for these two nuts, and it is a 19mm nut. I apologize that I probably mentioned it's 17 earlier ago, but it's a 19mm nut, and impact will be able to remove this without any problem. That's out, and this one. Okay, done. And this variator, you need to remove it gently so that nothing will get. There's a washer, and there's a nut, a washer, and this is the gears that will engage to the Kickstarter. Slowly remove it. It's a bit hot. So it's a bit hot, so not a good time to remove. But I already done it, so slowly. On installation, I will have to wait for this to be cold. What I will do, I will just inspect the variator and lightly put the grease, high temperature grease, but not too much, just to ensure everything is okay. This variator, I've used the Dr. Pulley slider, the 21.5, 15.5 gram, and no problem, it's still very new. Okay. And the aft clutch assembly, This is the clutch bell, and that's the clutch. Right, that's the whole thing. So you can just remove the belt easily and inspect the belt for wear. Make sure it's in the right direction. This SYM indication is on the leading edge of the belt, so its belt will be moving this way, and this must be forward. Don't install it in the other direction. Also, before you install the belt to this pulley, the aft pulley, you need to somehow pull this so that the belt will fit in. Then it will be much easier for you to replace. It's quite hot because I just came back from a short trip, so I will do the installation once it's cold, so that I can do a better inspection on this part. That's the variator. Occasionally what we need to do is to check the variator surface for smoothness. If it shows sign of rough edges, it's about time to change. This is a very new variator, and this centerpiece spindle here, you can lightly grease it so that it will slide freely during its operation. And the variator, you can remove the cover and you can see all the sliders inside. This can be easily removed and changed. It's quite warm now, so I will not do anything much until it's cold. Okay, I'll continue later on.